Hello, it's Mike Levin from MikeLevinSEO.com, and this is the Pipulate project in GitHub, and we just had this remarkable achievement of replacing question marks in the Google Docs spreadsheet with the output from the functions found down here. So when it encounters func1, it returns out from func1, and when it encounters func2, it returns just the input parameters, param1 and param2. And this is going to be a generic system for doing all kinds of lookups. Func1 and func2 are just placeholder examples. But we're up to a point where I want to clean up some of the code I just did recently, or more accurately, just make it more elegant. I don't like doing this immediate incrementing of or +1 of calldex, and I'm just going to -1 here. So this is where it really needs the +1. So I'm going to do the +1 right in location, and that way this will not need a -1, and we won't need this line here. And we'll watch the question mark replacement take place one more time, and then we're going to talk about how to make all those checks into a function, because I do this if not row 1, and if there's a question mark in the cell, and then there's another check as to whether the column title is actually a function name in global or not, which I'm not doing that check here, but I am doing it elsewhere. So I'm just going to make up an arbitrary function name and put it there. So if, and let's call it, what's going to look good here, if is QM, if is QM, check replace. You encounter a question mark. You're processing the rows. You go cell by cell. You get up to a cell and it has a question mark. To be replaced. To be replaced. And this is going to get some input. It's going to need, in this case, it's going to be a row, which is the original row, and it's going to need the new row, and it's going to need the calldex. And is it anything else? Anything else it's going to need? I believe a lot of what the check is going to go against is going to require, rowdex might be required too. Oh, calldex, comma, rowdex. Let's do rowdex, comma, calldex. Rowdex, comma, calldex, because we're going to have to filter out column 1. So if all, and now it looks a little too long for my tastes. If question mark, and if question mark is met, then all these other checks have been done. So it's at least these 2 checks. We're going to cut those out, and we're going to paste them here temporarily. And then we're going to outdent this to just 2 tabs. So now we need a function here, def question mark, and it's going to be old row. Let's just say, yeah, old row, new row, rowdex, calldex. And that first check is a completely valid one. So if rowdex is not equal to -1, it can continue. Now, if old row, calldex equals question mark. And then there's one more check that has to do with things being in globals. And we can probably find that pretty easily. This is where we set up the global functions, but that's not where we want to look for globals. We want to look for globals where it's getting ready to execute. It's down in this eval thing. The word global isn't going to be in there. Eval func. Oh, it's going to be near the calling of eval func. So shift 8 on this guy. Ah, there it is. V. Actually, shift V. Yank. G semicolon to where we're just editing. I can go on the outside there, because if the column name is not even in the function list, then we don't even need to check for the question mark. So this is a excellent sort of triple check going on here. So if rowdex is not equal to 1, and then calldex, yeah, that's a global object there. We can feed calldex in. Is in this global object, that's good, so it is a function name. And now if we feed, if the old row in the calldex, okay, I believe that is all correct. Return true. Return false. If it takes any other path, it comes back false. This should actually have the same results at this point, but now this is going to be a nice reusable function when we get up to doing it for the CSV shelve approach. Let's see if that's true. Do we get question mark replacement? Did I make an error? Hey, it all worked. Excellent, excellent. I pause while I think through my next step. Well, it turns out a new row is not even required here upon further inspection. So we're just feeding it the old row, the rowdex, and the calldex, and we use those to check against the functions in global, whether it's row 1, and whether the calldex of the old row had a question mark in it. And if all those things are true, it returns true. Otherwise, it returns false and /skips over those other guys. And I think that's enough for the video now, because the next step is really using this for the shelve/CSV portion, which is going to be quite a bit more involved. So thanks for joining me, and hope to talk to you soon, and don't forget to subscribe.